Since that article came out, it's kind of like, yo, you got to take this with a grain of salt. You got to there was some powerful stuff in there. That's no doubt. I'm not saying none of it, I'm not saying the text, I'm not saying phone calls didn't happen, yada yada, but damn, it just none of it made sense. The none of it made sense. I felt it was dangerous from the get-go. It was dangerous. And now all this shit coming out. This is what I'm saying. These platforms, it's not good. You got to think about the victims' respect, the family's respect, the community's respect, then your own. Come on. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it for this. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And he should know this. He's been in the game a long ass fucking time. He should know this. He should know. All right, so I'm going to switch to one of my favorite channels. We always love playing it here at the show. Shout out Harsh. Jay for Justice did something to reach out to try and help the family. So I think it's going to be. I love highlighting other creators just because it is a community thing. And I'm going to be showing Jay for Justice's video about helping the. All right, here's a video from Harsh on the Howard Blum. Bloom.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all
Hello.
well on this fantabulous Friday. And this has been I'm in non-uniform. Because I was going to do 2 videos today. So later on, there's going to be a video that is going to say that is video 2, when in fact it's actually video 3, because this is now video 2. Because it has been brought to my attention via multiple emails and also a video. And I am actually a member of the group as well. And I had a look and saw this post. But what am I talking about? You all say. And before I continue, let me just say, you look amazing.
Whoa, my music just timed out really good.
We're carrying on talking about the Howard Blum, Blumber, Howard, the writer, this airmail article that has stirred up the shit well and truly. Because what's happening now?
By the way, I got my crown back. I got the F-bomb crown back 2 days in a row now, everybody. 2 days in a row. I got it back.
It's the Gongalves family, the Facebook group that they have, which is controlled by their family. They have put a post out. It's requesting help. It's saying, we need you to help us. We need you to find out who sent these texts, who made these texts. And there's a post that shows a thread that, and look, this is going to be a room splitter, by the way, because I have to say what this looks like. And I'm not saying this is what it is, but I'm saying what this looks like. Because those messages, the text message thread that's being shown, to me, looks fake as fuck. I'm an Apple user, have been since the very first Apple iPhone come out. And that, to me, doesn't look genuine. It's very, very easy to fake messages. Very, very easy. I could show you a thread up on...
It is. Like, trust me, I even get these pictures, everybody. Seriously. This is what I'm saying. I ain't never went to school for this shit. This Howard Blum guy's been doing this shit for years, went to school, you know what I mean? Like, how in the fuck? How in the fuck? Come on, man. Exactly. People can fake anything. This whole fucking screenshot receipt shit day, that shit's gone. That shit's gone. This screenshot fucking receipt fucking you can make that shit too. Like, what the fuck is a receipt anymore? You know what I'm saying? Seriously. You can make any of this shit. I've had people send me some crazy ass shit, and I'm like, no, I'm not even. Come on, Howard Bloom. You've been in the game for years, bro.
On screen here, where Steve G shows his absolute undying love to me. And, you know, you would think that it looks genuine, but they haven't even gone to that effort in these messages. It looks fake. But what it seems to be suggesting is that there is somebody with an agenda that had been sending information to Howard Blum, and he's ran with it in this article. Ooh, have you indeed? Now, I'm not 100% sure, but let's just put this out there. Howard Blum, for a start, is someone who's been a journalist for many, many years. He's not wet between the ears, wet but behind the ears, between the ears. He's not wet in the brain. He ain't got wet brain. He actually does know his trade. He is an investigative journalist and writer, and he knows his craft. I think that's a fair assumption. Right. So if he's getting information and it's saying that said information is from said person, he would have done work to, and again, I assume this, he would have done work to prove that who he's talking to is who they are saying they are. I would think, wouldn't you? But he might not have. He might not have, but I think he would. But these messages seem to be saying, like I say, that someone has messaged him and basically they have an agenda, weird word to use, have an agenda and it's down to them. And what you're now seeing is a fallout that they have caused. This is what I have a problem with. Now, this article has been called out, and multiple people have said, including myself, that this article, if there is any truth to it, then there's a potential that could have irreparable repercussions to the trial, to the case, to justice. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Now, could it be utter crap? Could it be utter crap? Of course it could. It could. That's just always a fact that whatever you hear in this case, you have to take everything with a pinch of salt. But you also have to, because of the craziness of it, accept that some of it could be real, could be right, could be true, and that could just be sprinkled across with some shit amongst it. And you have to kind of try and find the wheat from the chaff. But I feel that this looks like an attempt, a further attempt from potentially Steve Gonsalves or someone else within the family who are now concerned that have they overstepped the mark, and they are trying to distance themselves from what was said in the Howard Bloom article. Now, I'm not saying that's 100% what's happened. I'm saying that's what it looks like to me. I'm saying that it appears that someone is trying to distance themselves. And I'll tell you why I think it. Because Steve Gonsalves has had a private investigator himself. He's been doing his homework consistently while this has been going on. Consistently. He's not asked for help. He's got his own resources. He's got people who could help him. He's got people who have been helping him. And he himself is quite a resourceful gentleman.
Yes.
So I don't understand why make this so public.
Right.
Why make such a big thing of it? That, oh, look, that airmail article, by the way, we now have information that has been given to us that is faked messages that seemingly show that we're not the ones who did this, that these people are the ones who did it. So you, please help us find it. Please help us find who did this.
We'll be getting into that next.
That's how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it looks. Now, if it's not, then I apologize. And I would say that it's sick if someone genuinely is doing this and they were indeed feeding information under the guise that they were Steve Gonsalves or Steve Gonsalves' friends, and they hoodwinked Howard Blumber.
They didn't hoodwink.
And this is the fallout from it.
He knows
better. What we can kind of hope is that law enforcement would do their due diligence and get to the bottom of it, because ultimately if someone is in the receipt of text messages, it is not rocket science to find out where said text messages come from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if someone's got a phone and said, look, I've been sent these text messages, or I've got these, or there's a picture, there is
Right.
metadata, there is data, there are ways and means of finding anything you need. Nothing is hidden, especially on phones, on computers,
No.
on tablets, anything. You can't go, do, say, whatever, anything, it's all able to be found. You
Yeah.
can't hide. What do you think?
Yeah.
Is it a sicko? Is it an absolute sicko?
You know, I quit watching her. Oh my gosh. This is what's crazy about Nancy Grace. I quit watching her. Remember when she was like talking about Koberger? It was like right around when that date, gosh, when was it? Right around when that Dateline episode came out. Cuz I was still watching a couple people, you know, I wasn't watching News Nation much. But I still was watching Nancy Grace. There was a lot of people that were like, "CJ, no, quit." I'm like, "Come on." Like I've liked Nancy Grace for a long time, you know, like I got to give her 150, right? I got to give her 150. I gave her 150. And then when she started doing this like fucking creeping fucking hand shit, like, and he went on his computer and he logged into her camera and he watched her in her undies eating cereal. I'm like, Nancy, if anybody was there with me when they were watching me when I was watching that episode, I'm like, Nancy, come on, Nancy. Nancy, come on. Come on, Nancy. After that, I'm like, no, I can't do it. Can't do it. So it don't surprise me. No, it don't. All right, so we're gonna switch to this next video. This is J for Justice, and it's about helping out the family. They reserve the right to be able to frickin' have this person held accountable, because this is some bullshit. This is dangerous as hell. Blum should have known better. He's been in the game how damn long? Come on, bro. I don't know how many times I'm gonna keep saying it, but they're asking for help. The family's asking for help. So I'll get the link for the family page here in a second, and or if anybody does have the link, any of the mods, go ahead and drop it, please. Appreciate it if you do. They definitely need help. Come on, let's get them this hope.
Hey everyone, welcome back to J is for Justice.
Let's get
I've
them
been
this
doing
hope.
some sorting through the Steve Gonsalves and Howard Blum mess. And what I found makes me believe that neither man is probably really at fault here.
What?
Let's get into it.
Come on, Bloom's been around for a long time.
Back in August, someone named Macy May on Facebook was trolling the Gonsalves family on their Facebook page.
Shout
They
out
eventually
Jacob
had to
Justice.
remove and block that person from their Facebook.
Yep.
Macy May is friends with Papa Rogers on Facebook and made several posts on the same Idaho murders group as Papa Rogers. Well, it seems Macy May, which the name is sick in itself, Maddie May, Macy May. Anyway, it seems this person could possibly be the cause of more drama for Steve Gonsalves and Howard Blum. It seems that someone faked texts from Steve Gonsalves to send to Howard Blum to further a narrative. I don't know what to make of this, but I do feel like there's some people from YouTube who have actually had contact with Howard Blum early on. These people have been known to mess with victims of other high-profile crimes as well. Until I have more proof.
Let me guess. Is it the one that is Chris Watts? Is it the same fucking people? Yeah, we'll find out.
I'm going to leave that there.
Just saying.
So here's what Steve had to say about the Howard Blum article based on loads of texts Howard received from a, quote, friend of Steve.
You gotta trust us, okay? Listen, this is another round of some shit that's gonna be coming, okay? I'm just giving you guys a heads up. This is another round of shit that's gonna be coming. It's gonna look like it's a fucking oh shit, da, da, da. And then listen, I'm not trying to look like the bad guy when the bullshit comes, and I'm the one that so please trust, okay? It may look to you, they do this shit for a reason. They make people think that the shit's real. They pull at your emotions, which alters your judgment. They're good at it, okay? That's what they do. They pull at your emotions to alter your judgment, so then things become more believable, right? We've been through it before on this show. We've had people come in here. I totally understand. They pull at your emotions. You get sucked in. It's no fault of your own. But what I'm saying is please trust me, okay? Because I'm giving you a heads up. There's another fucking tidal wave of shit that's gonna be coming. So just keep your head on a swivel, all right? And just trust me, okay? Trust me. That's all I ask.
Steve. As it is common in these situations, people try to make money off the dead. It's a free world, and people can write and say pretty much anything they
Thank
want
you,
these days.
Brandywine. I appreciate you.
Most of the time, my family and I just ignore the chatter and the noise. But lines have to be drawn somewhere. I was recently sent an article on Airmail by Howard Blum describing Kaylee, apparently quoting me, and completely making up a fictional story about FBI letters, etc.
Dangerous.
Mr. Blum recently has used the murders to get back in the spotlight, appearing on an NBC show, as well as a book he is writing. He has reached...
And this is some bullshit because he came from a day and age, okay? He come from a day and age where you had to vet the fuck out of your sources before you could even... Listen, let's be real. If the dude's as old as he is, he came from a day and age where you had to vet the fuck out of your shit before you even put anything out in paper. Source after source after source had to confirm it before you even put it out there. He comes from that. That's why I'm saying he should know better. He should know better. I don't know. I'm not giving Bloom a pass like she is. I'm not. That's bullshit, dude. Because we all have that shit coming to us. We all do. We all have that shit coming in our inbox. You don't think this is the first time I heard some shit like this in my damn inbox? You don't think I've heard some crazier fucking shit in my inbox with fucking screenshots and all sorts of stuff? I didn't even go to school for this shit, and I know better.
Reached out through our attorney several times to speak to us, but we have declined. I just want to make it very clear to the public that we have not spoken to Mr. Bloom about the death of our daughter. This is nothing more than a grandstanding and a very, very poor attempt at getting attention. This piece is obviously fictional,
dangerous,
but written in poor taste. I found that part interesting in Steve's statement, that the piece is obviously fictional, but just written in poor taste.
Right. And
what do you guys take away from that?
That goes with anybody on any of these fucking platforms. You want to sit there and make shit up about other fucking people. It's a bunch of bullshit. Bunch of bullshit. It's the same as this Bloom shit. You make shit up about somebody else, it's the same as this Bloom shit. Poor fucking taste is what it is.
And here is Howard's reply to Steve's outrage. 1, I have no wish to get into a public argument with Mr. Gongalves.
Poor taste.
He and his family have already suffered too much pain.
We're better than that.
2, we both agree on that I never interviewed him, as the article clearly states. 3, my portrait of a grieving father was based on a trove of texts he wrote that were made available to airmail, his public statements, and interviews with people close to him. Now, if we look at Howard Blum's response, he says his sources were texts that Steve wrote, which could be faked.
That's what I'm
His
saying.
public
The day and age with this receipt shit, it's over because the receipts can be fucking created. It's a bunch of bullshit. You have to trust people for their word anymore. You have to. You see you see fucking Mike Tyson coming out saying, I never promoted this, and they got Mike Tyson on a commercial promoting a fucking vegetarian bar or some shit. It wasn't even him. It's AI. Like all this shit. I've had people make fucking videos of my fucking face, of me talking, putting other fucking voices in my fucking mouth. For real. I'm sure you guys have seen this shit, all the shit that comes my way. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Just because I'm about the fucking peace and positivity, so everybody tries to break me down because I'm about the fucking peace and positivity? No. Because they ain't about it. And they don't like it. It's crazy. It's disgusting. Right, Jeremiah. Oh no, this is what you know damn well this is what he did, Jeremiah. He wrote that damn article based off these bullshit texts. That's like me coming out with a show saying, "Hey, guess what, guys? I found out a whole bunch of stuff that never came out and it's fucking crazy." Yeah. Right? No. And then when shit comes my way, when it comes on my panel and I fucking call it out, and the fucking people that are fucking on my panel with me are sucking into more of the fucking BS, and I'm the only one on my damn panel saying no. People on my own fucking panel were sucked into the damn shit. I'm the one saying, no, it don't make sense. No, you need to call somebody. No. Other people on my damn panel are asking questions, feeding into this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Because we got the same messages and I wasn't reading into the fucking dumb shit. It truly is about the victims on this fucking channel. Because listen, it don't fucking matter. Yeah, I'm the only fucking source of income in my fucking household. Yes, this does matter. Let's be honest. But at the same time, when it comes to fucking ethics, when it comes to doing the right fucking thing, when it comes to thinking about somebody else before you fucking think about you, you don't do that shit. Not to nobody. Whether it's in fucking print, video, hearsay, what the fuck ever. I'm on a fucking rant today. Man, this shit is just... It's not only Howard Blum. Not only Howard Blum. Any motherfucker. Poor fucking taste. It's disgusting. And this just highlights this shit even more. People fucking doing dumb shit to other fucking people's livelihoods because of their own fucking greed. It's fucking disgusting.
Statements, which
Disgusting.
we all have seen, and interviews with
tired of
people
it.
close to him. What interviews has Steve Gonsalves done with people that are, quote, close to him? Howard Blum mentioned Chronicles of Olivia, very detailed in his article. Is he alluding to Olivia? All right, moving
That's
on
right,
from
Jeremiah.
that. The Gonsalves family has exposed this Macy May person on their Facebook page. Hello, friends and family. We long debated saying anything at all about recent events here, especially because we really do try to maintain a positive and safe space. But given how much support we have here, we felt we needed to ask for your help. We recently were made aware of some messages claiming to have fabricated texts from Steve, as well as trying to incite others to spread lies. While we understand the internet is a big place and people are free to say whatever they would like, we personally feel a line was crossed and we would like to pursue further action. If anyone knows any more about these screenshots, knows who created them, what they said, etc., and would feel comfortable sharing with us, we would be extremely appreciative. Everyone has a right to their own opinion, but lives, careers, relationships, etc., can be ruined over maliciously spreading false information for no reason other than to be hateful. As always, thankful for you all and much love. And then they show these texts that are allegedly Macy May talking to someone about what he or she has done with these fake screenshots that were allegedly made. Now, if this Macy May person set this in motion, I hope they find out who the...
What I'm saying, don't believe the fuck, don't believe. Listen, you don't believe the fucking receipts no more, for real. Come on now, this has been obvious for a while now. Everybody knows this shit can be created. This is we need to be better. We need to be better at this shit. We need to be
person or
better
persons are behind this sick game.
every day.
Do you think that Howard Blum was punked by this troll Macy May? Do you think Steve Gonsalves is just doing damage control because in the beginning he did say some things? I personally have a hard time with the grand jurors, especially two of them.
No, this is what I said when I read the article. He was fucking picking shit from different YouTube shows and fucking adding on to it from the text messages. Or the text messages were going off the fucking... Listen. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. You guys remember the guest I was talking about from a couple months ago that hopped on one fucking night and started saying all this crazy shit, and I was saying it seemed like they were taking little bits and pieces of fucking YouTube shows and the crazy ass theories that some shows are talking about, and they're fucking putting it all together and then adding a little bit to it here and there. Is this not the same fucking thing?
Nancy Grace, if you want to sit there and talk for these people and make out like you've done all your research, you've done all your homework, you should at least get the person's name right, especially when you're talking about the people who are at ground zero. I know we throw some shade over Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, but we do so in the hunt for justice. We do so in the hunt for justice because ultimately this case has questions. It's got questions floating around it, and the actions and inactions of people around it can sometimes paint a picture. It can paint whether these people knew something, whether they saw something, heard something, whether they were in on it. You hate to think it, but history has told us that sometimes life will throw you a curveball. Something will happen. There'll be a case where you don't think someone's involved. You look at cases like Chris Watts, for instance, you know what I mean? I know some people say, well, he looked dodgy from the start, and I had him pinned at the start, but there will be people who are absolutely shocked by that. And there has been cases where you absolutely think you know who done the crime, and then all of a sudden they will get found not guilty. And then you think to yourself, well, if they're not guilty, then who did it then? And it could happen in this case. Brian Koberger very well could be found innocent. He could be found guilty. Of course he could. There is evidence pointing towards him that don't look great, and he's going to, like I say, that's going to have to come out and go through the system if it gets that far, and a decision will have to be made. But he could be found innocent of this crime. There could be something, there could be a piece of information that comes out that proves that he couldn't have done it. We have spoken briefly in the past about the Burler report. Now, his car should have information stored within it that could help to corroborate his story. Now, Nancy Grace wants to push that this driving around at night is something that is out of the ordinary, bizarre, and it's not helping at all, and it's the weakest alibi that has ever been told by anybody. Why is it? Why is it? Is it because you feel that Brian Kohberger is the only person in the world who drives around at night, or that if you drive around at night, you are automatically a killer? Let me know down below. If you drive around at night, don't worry, we're not going to try and pin you to unsolved crimes in your area. But they said it's very, very convenient for him to be able to say he drives around at night. And I would say, well, it's not really convenient, is it? It's quite inconvenient because he's facing the death penalty and he doesn't have an alibi that has a witness. And it just so happens that things that many, many people do that he could have indeed been doing may have been the very, very thing that got him placed in this position in the first place. If he had a conversation with law enforcement, we have alluded to this before, and that is if he has a conversation with law enforcement, they ask him what he was doing at a certain time on a certain night, and he turns around and he's honest with them and says, I was driving around. I drive around at night. Do you have any witnesses? No, I don't. I frequently drive around on my own at night to clear my head, get some space. It's just, all right. So you was driving around sort of Moscow, Idaho, or whatever, and you have no witnesses. Around what sort of time would you say that was? And before you know it, you're fucked. So look, it could be that this wasn't anything but a true story that was the catalyst for him being where he is today. And maybe that is exactly why law enforcement and the system was pushing for his alibi, because they knew he didn't have one, because they'd already done the interview that would be the very interview that would put him in the place that he's in now, because they knew he'd never be able to argue his way out of it. But Nancy Disgrace, sorry, Freudian slip. If you are going to talk about these people in the manner with which you are, the best thing to do is learn their name, because as soon as you don't know their name, you lose all credibility. You come across as disingenuous because you don't even have the decency to learn someone's name, but then you speak about them. She talks about the fact that Dylan and Bethany were said to have been texting one another, and she goes on to say, I can't see that. I don't believe it. Don't believe it. Don't believe it at all. I can't see it. Why don't you see it? What do you know about these two individuals that would lead you to believe that they wouldn't have been texting each other during this crime? You don't know them personally. You don't even have the decency to learn their name. And what you do is you look at an article and you say, right, so in this article it says that Dylan and Bethany were messaging each other around the time of this crime. And I don't believe that bit, so we're going to take that out. That's not true. But this article says that Brian Kohberger bought a K-bar knife and sheath. And you believe that. You believe that bit 100%. Because this piece suits your narrative and that one doesn't. And again, this is another person, legacy media, mainstream media, digital media, pushing a specific narrative on a crime. And what makes me laugh is you'll listen to what she's saying and she doesn't even get these people's names right. And I know I go on and on and on. But then you'll see people in the comments and these people are, oh, you're so wonderful. This is proper journalism. Keep on it. Proper journalism. She didn't get a friggin' name right. And then she's talking about what she's talking about and pulling this article apart and handpicking what she's willing to accept as true and what she won't accept as true. And then you've got people like JLR, and look, JLR does some fantastic work, but then you've got JLR doing a video as well talking about Idaho are executing someone in Idaho, and that should make Brian Kohberger worry. Why should it make Brian Kohberger worry that someone who was arrested back in 1974 is finally being given the death penalty? All that's going to show Brian, at the very least, is if he's guilty and he does get sentenced to death, he's probably got a good another 30, 40 years in him. Anyway, I digress. But this is the problem. This is the entire problem with this case. You've got people who will deep dive and they'll look at stuff and they'll talk about everything. And then you've got people like Nancy Grace who are highly respected people, which she is. She is. She can't
Or
get away
Howard
from it. She's
Blum.
highly respected. And she will say what she has to say and has her thoughts and opinions on certain things, but they aren't seen as thoughts and opinions. You know, people will attack channels like mine. They'll attack channels like Grizzly, for instance. They'll attack all of the channels that talk about these crimes
Me,
as if we shouldn't have an opinion.
right?
But yet Nancy Grace, all she's having is an opinion,
Right.
and she can't even get people's names right, but that's
Right.
seen as okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the bigger picture is the vast majority of people don't have empathy towards one another.
That's right.
Like Dylan and Bethany, for instance, to say that they 100% weren't texting each other during this crime is ludicrous. And you likely don't have children yourself, because that generation,
Yep.
I'm telling you, they don't have empathy for one another. They're so self-centered. And I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying the generation contains many, many, many youngsters who just don't have empathy for one another. They don't. They just don't. They simply don't care. And I'm coming from a perspective of having children who are raised well.
Same
you know,
shit I
don't-
was
they
saying this
don't have
morning.
a
It's true,
bad
man.
background. They're not. You know, and they don't have empathy for one another as sisters.
Right.
And that's just
Like I'm saying, when you think about others before you think about yourself, you don't do shit like that. That's how you know the fucking people that are true about their words and the people that are just saying shit and doing something completely else behind the scenes. When you think about others before you think about yourself. But you also get screwed a lot too. Because I think about others before I think about myself, and it's screwed me plenty fucking times too. But it is what it is. I'm not. You keep taking those chances. You keep getting screwed. Because you don't want the one person that comes along that truly deserves it to get screwed because the other's screwed. It's a tough path. A tough path, but it's about being real. And that's 150.
just me being honest. Just being honest. But look, Brian Koberger, he's facing the death penalty. And you've got people like Nancy Grace who are controlling the online media narrative and pushing certain things and specifics. But they can't, like I say.
Oh, trust me, I see the BS. And when I call it out, I see the BS. And when I call it out, there's a lot that don't believe. You know what I mean? Or they think it's some other kind of fucking story because the person I'm calling out for BS doesn't want the truth to be fucking coming out. So it's a deflection. Trust me, I see it. I've seen it plenty of times in this show. I've tried warning motherfuckers, and people just don't want to hear me or believe me. And that's not my problem. Because I give them 150. I give everybody 150. I even give my motherfucking enemy 150. Ain't that crazy? I even give my enemies 150. I ain't stupid. I ain't a stupid motherfucker. And I don't give a fuck if people believe me or not, because the people that are true, the people that they'll be like, you know what? CJ ain't got no reason to fucking not be true. It's just the way it is. That's why I call you all diamonds. Because there's plenty of sand pebbles out there on that beach. I'm looking for that sand that was created into a diamond because you all last forever. These sand pebbles, they wash up and down in that shore. These diamonds, they last forever. You all glisten on those beach of sand pebbles.
And I just want to push this home to try and get this to settle in people's minds, because this is where you've got to choose who you truly want to trust and truly want to listen to. Is it people who may say things that you don't agree with, but they at least have the decency of getting the people's names right? They go over everything with a fine-tooth comb, and they look at every single angle to bring out everything so you can have it all and make your own decision. Or do you want to speak to people who don't have the decency to learn these people's names, and they just want to handpick things and give it to you and say, that's the news? That's the news. Talking about Amazon and how that your clicks reflect your thoughts and feelings, which to a degree, yeah, I can see that, but I don't see why you want to dramatize that principle in this case, because ultimately what are they talking about? They're talking about the fact that Brian Koberger could have been going on
What's up,
Instagram and
Lulu?
looking at females.
Appreciate you.
And again, I say that just because someone looks at someone online, looks at a picture, looks at a profile, likes a girl clad in a bikini, it doesn't mean they're going to go on to murder her. You know, just because someone buys duct tape and cable ties, it doesn't mean they're a murderer. Obviously, I suppose what they're saying is in murder cases and things like that, if they look at their digital footprint and they see that they're buying these things or they're doing these things, then that can paint a picture. But let's also not forget that Brian's area of expertise, if you like, part of that was his digital knowledge, what he learned about crimes and online and being, you know, DNA and digital footprints, so on and so forth. So wouldn't it be fair to say that if Brian Koberger was the smart guy that he could have potentially been, he would have covered his tracks with things like that? But anyway, I digress. Let me know what you think. Do people like Nancy Grace have a right to come out and steer the narrative the way that they do? And do people need to be more sort of vigilant on who they listen to and actually pay attention? Because it would seem that some people just simply don't pay attention.
Sword and Scale, they posted this picture. And, you know, since we're talking about this conversation today, I figure this is probably the best representation of what it feels like, right? You know, there's all these people following the narrative. You got people screaming, yelling, throwing shit in your direction while you're just walking down the path of analyzing the facts. So shout out Sword and Scale. I appreciate the post. That's on my Twitter. True as shit right there.